Welcome back, everyone. My name is Noon, and I will be your host. Today's episode will be about why Lucy writes. Have you ever had so many thoughts in your head that you just couldn't say them out loud? Like, you feel everything so strongly, but when it comes time to explain it, it just doesn't come out in the way that you want it to? Today, I'm here with my friend Lucy to talk about something that's a huge part of her life, writing. Lucy, thank you for being here.
Yeah, of course, I'm excited.
If someone met you for the first time, they probably think that you're very outgoing and it's pretty easy for you to talk to people. Would you say that's, the scenario?
Yeah, I think that's the case. I think I give off that friendly, easy to approach type of energy. And I think I am for the most part.
Yeah, and I've noticed that too. Would you say that it's easy for you to express your feelings to people?
Yes and no. Usually when you're speaking to people face to face, there are many things that you tend to hold back on. But there are some times where you do get your feelings across, and those are always a plus. But other than that, there are times where you do hold back on a lot of things and you don't really get to express that out the way you would like to.
Yeah, and I've noticed that too. You have like a lot going on in your head, and sometimes when you say stuff, it just doesn't come out the way that you want it to.
Exactly. My mind feels like a junk drawer sometimes, and everything just kind of floats everywhere, and it's hard to find like the right words at times.
Yeah, so when that happens, like, what do you do?
Usually when that does happen, I tend to pull out a journal and start writing down my emotions.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. That's why I brought you on this podcast. Writing isn't just something that you do for school, but it's like something that you use outside of school as well for your personal life. So can you just explain to me why writing is much more helpful than just talking things out with other people?
I think it's because when I'm talking or in a moment of like a heated argument, it's like when you're speaking and thinking all at the same speed, and sometimes you speak before you think rather than thinking before you speak. And usually when your feelings get involved in such like heated situation, sometimes you could go overboard with your words, and like things that you say might come out way like off from what you actually meant.
So yeah, that does make a lot of sense, because when I tend to get upset at stuff, I just want to react immediately. I can see how writing helps you like calm yourself down.
Sometimes when you are writing and you just have a bunch of emotions, some emotions that you're not even fully aware of, and when you just start jotting things down, it's like everything just starts making more sense, and you just literally start word vomiting into your journal or like even your notes app, or just
Well, word vomit is crazy, but that's very real.
Yeah, no, seriously, sometimes at the start it gets really messy, but at the end, as you just start writing away, it's things just starts making sense a little bit more, and by the end you just figure out everything that you were feeling and what you meant to say.
Does that help you when you go back and talk to people?
Oh yeah, definitely. Usually when some arguments end up in bad terms, it's always good to revisit them, and just to make sure that you and that person are in the same page.
Writing isn't something that you just use for emotional help, but you also use it spiritually, right? So can you just talk a little bit more about your devotionals?
Yeah, for sure. During my quiet time, I use this method called the SOAP method. Have you ever heard of that?
I have heard of that method, but I'm not sure if some of our viewers have heard of that, so can you just break it down for us?
SOAP, and each letter represents something different. So S would represent scripture, the O would represent observation, the A would represent application, and P would represent prayer. I start off by reading a chapter in the Bible, and that which would be the scripture part. And usually when you're reading it for the first time, nothing really sticks out. That's when observation comes into play. You reread the verse again. Just take your time on it.
Well, yeah, what I'm understanding from this is that you're not just reading during your scripture time, you're trying to actually understand what you are reading, which is really important when it comes down to devotionals.
Yeah, exactly. And usually after observation, go back and restudy the word, and then try to think of ways I could apply that to my life, which then A would come into play with application. After I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of what I did read, I would just pray and just meditate and just see what the Lord was talking to me about through those scriptures, and that's when P comes into play. So when I am having my quiet time, I use all 4 letters, SOAP, and I just write them all down.
And after you're finished with your SOAP method, I hear that you write down your prayers, right?
Oh yeah. Sometimes when that prayer is really hitting, I fill out a page or two. But
well, yeah, I totally understand you with what you mean by your prayers just start going longer and longer and longer, because I used to write down my prayers and I just had to stop because it just got too long. Well, writing down your prayers inside of your book is really cool. So do you feel that writing helps you connect more with God during your devotional times?
Yeah, definitely. It helps me focus more and go deeper instead of just reading the word and just moving on with my life. As I start applying the SOAP method and just start jotting things down, it helps me focus a lot more, because it like writing requires like all of your attention. So it definitely helps me focus more and go deeper. And I would say it like I've grown a lot spiritually because of it.
Yeah, and so we talked a lot about like using writing for emotional help and spiritual as well, but we know that you're in high school, right? So college essays.
Oh gosh.
So like tell me about the process, because how is that going for you? I know you were stressing a lot about it at first.
I think you kind of summarized it really well. It's very stressful. I was, I kept stressing whether my topic was like good enough, and honestly, it wasn't getting me anywhere.
So like what changed throughout that whole process?
Eventually I realized that I need to stop forcing it and stop comparing my essay to like others. And honestly, when it does get stressful, like being crammed up in my room and just running out of ideas, so I would like leave my room, like go outside and just, like just being in nature, just sometimes it clears your mind, and then like new ideas just starts popping back in. I eventually come out of my writer's block and then just start typing out even more.
Yeah, so it's like just no more overthinking in that moment, just writing.
Yeah, and usually at first it's like really, really slow, and then like you are kind of like, what do I write about? But then eventually, as like you just start typing out like the first sentence, everything else kind of follows right afterwards.
I love when you get that feeling where everything just starts coming into place and everything just starts flowing naturally, and you don't have to think too much about it, like when you have writer's block.
Yeah, and usually when things do come naturally, it's like I don't want to stop. It feels like my thoughts are finally like gathered together, and it's like finally here, and like I don't want to lose them.
But you finished your college essay though.
Yeah, eventually I did.
Well, did you feel like journaling helped you along with that process?
Yeah, for sure. It made it easier to like organize my thoughts and actually put them like into words.
And so after everything, journaling, devotionals, essays, how has that changed you?
It definitely helped me in like many different areas of my life. I feel like I became a better communicator through that, and also it's like I understand myself and like my own feelings and my own emotions way better, and I've grown a lot like spiritually and mentally, like starting to jot down a lot of things, because it's like once you go back to read them, you're like, oh, I was in this area of my life, and it's like now I'm out of it, and now it's like a learning experience.
And after like being friends with you for a while, I could really see that in your life, how writing has impacted you. So what would you say your life would be like without writing?
Honestly, really chaotic. My mind would feel cluttered like 24/7, and I'll probably be stressed and have gray hair at the rightful age of 18.
Wow, I love that description. Well, that says a lot.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, during this conversation with you has changed how I viewed you. Not in a bad way or anything, just like I see how much writing is important to your life, because I would be the person who never thought that writing has an impact on you. But I can see how writing has shaped how you are as a person as well.
Yeah, I say it really does. I feel like a lot of people have this like misconception of me. It's like when they first meet me, they see me as this like really cheerful, joyful like type of person, but I am a human after all, and I do have many human emotions that I do feel, and there are times where I can't put them into words, and writing has helped me in so many different areas of my life.
Well, I just want to thank you for being here on this podcast episode with us and joining us and talking to us about why you write. I'm sure we've learned a lot about who you are as a person and why writing is really important to you. Well, we'll see you next time. Bye! So why does Lucy write? Well, first, she writes to understand herself. Second, she writes to express what she can't say out loud. And third, she writes to grow and find peace in the middle of everything. And honestly, that might be something that I can learn from and you can learn from as well. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast episode. I'm your host, Noon, and we'll see you next time.